Three points in the bag. I forgot to switch myself on. Nothing different there. 3 points in the bag. Welcome to tonight's Monday Fan Zone show. Thank goodness for that. That'll shut a few people up, or will it? It probably won't. They'll still moan. I've heard people still moaning, saying Cooper got the subs wrong. It's not good enough. We should have won by 2 or 3. I don't know what some people need to be happy. We're currently not doing too bad, if you ask me, but we want your views. We want your comments in the next 30 minutes in tonight's Fan Zone show. What do you think to what's going on at Leicester at the moment? Are you happy enough? We'd probably all like a little bit more. But are you still one of those who maybe thinks Cooper is just not the man, and whatever goes on, we're not going to have it? We're only a couple of points behind Man United. We're ahead of Ipswich. We're ahead of Southampton. We're ahead of Everton. We're ahead of Wolves. We're ahead of Palace. We're doing okay, aren't we? Get your views in, get your comments in. Let me know what you think in the next 28 minutes.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.
Good evening, welcome, wherever you're watching us from in the world. Let me know tonight, in fact, where you're watching from. Always interesting to know where we've got people. Don't forget, you can follow us at Leicester Fan TV on all socials. Let them get them off the screen and get as many of your comments as ever. If you're watching this live, we can get your comments on screen. It's me, it's you. We're just going to talk Leicester City. I want to know what you thought to the match on Saturday, how happy you were with it, what you thought. I mean, there's always improvements when, we're not top of the league anymore. So, of course, there's improvement. Good evening, Dave. How are you? Dave says, at least we won. Indeed, we won. It's 3 points. I have heard people grumbling. Subs were wrong. Yada, yada, yada. Didn't do this. Should have done that. But I'm like, but we won the game. So always interesting to know what people think. Bubba says, good evening, Phil. Yes, good evening, Bubba. Hope you're well out there in the States. 3 points. Andy says, can't really comment about the game. I was just flying back from Spain. Been anywhere nice, Andy? I mean, I know Spain, but whereabouts in Spain? Let us know. John O. Towers, good evening. Happy-ish. 7 points in the next 3 will be brilliant. Still think we got away with one on Saturday. We did, but at Palace, John O., we didn't get away with it, did we? Some you win, some you lose, some you draw. Anyway, John O. says Cooper needs to be quicker with the changes. We still won, John O. I told you, not everybody's happy all the time. Matty Bond says, watching from Paris. Ooh la la, Matty. Very nice. Hope you're having fun over there. Akeem says, good evening all. Hope you're well. Paul, good 3 points. I agree with you, Paul. 3 points at the moment is 3 points. That's the main thing. Imran, welcome to the show. Says, I think fans just want Cooper out. Even if he gets us into Europe, they just don't like him. I'm happy Fox enjoying this season. I think, listen, Imran, I was speaking with Reedy earlier in the office. I said, if we'd have just held on against Palace, 2 more points, could have snuck a late equaliser against Villa, could have been 3 points. This season could have been looking very good. Who knows what could happen? Ian says 3 points closer to safety and a clean sheet bonus. Again, Bournemouth are not a bad side, Ian, are they? Fans saying didn't make the changes quick enough, made the wrong changes, had the wrong starting 11, whatever. 3 points is 3 points. Got to take them. Andy says 3 points on the board. And Andy also confirms he's watching in Braunston in the mighty Leicester there. Good evening to you, Andy. Watching from Cyprus, Carl, eating a kebab. Is it warm out there, Carl? Anyway, thanks for letting us know where you are. Dallas Foxes, I'm guessing, is from Dallas, but not sure. Foxes on the box. Now that we got the first win, we need to get a couple more before the November break. Well, we've got a little break now, haven't we, Dallas? We've got, we don't play Southampton for about another 12 days because of an international break. Richard says, decent first half, shocking second half, shocking subs. What's Bubba doing on the bench anyway? Credit to Wout. That was his best game for us for a while. Richard, let's start that debate. Who was your man of the match? Let me know in the comments. I slightly disagree. Second half, 0 goals to Bournemouth. 3 points to Leicester. Edward, discuss, says Patrick. Well, react to what Patrick's saying. What do you think to Edward? Who stood out as good performances? I think a lot of fans thought, wow, Baez had a good game. Buenate feels a little bit already like we've signed the wrong creative midfielder because we've got Buenate on loan and now Canusis sat on the bench. Don't know. Early days, we'll see. We'll see. Michael says one swallow must be a summer. Michael, it's just one set of 3 points. But I think, generally, we've been pretty solid this season. We haven't been losing every game. Look at Southampton, even Ipswich. We're doing better than both the other two promoted sides, as you might expect, because we were champions, Michael. But listen, I think we're doing okay. Lee says, as much as I'm happy with the 3 points, but let's be real, we were lucky. Maybe. But were we unlucky against Palace? Were we unlucky against Villa? Were we lucky against Spurs? It goes around, doesn't it, Lee? Not a shot at goal all second half, and we were the home team. But Lee, could we have been 3-0 up at half time? That penalty, Jamie Vardy's miss, whatever. Should it have been put to bed before we even got into that? Gary says we're doing okay, but we need to be up for a scrap. We seem to be up for a scrap. I think so. I think we are up for a scrap. I was saying that a couple of weeks ago. I like the fact that we do actually look like we are trying to keep in the match and battle for these things. Again, first half away at Arsenal, really poor. Second half, we had a go. That's the Leicester that I believe in. The fearless Foxes. The Foxes never quit. That's what I want to see. Fives had a great game, says Dan. Thanks for that. Man of the match. Do you agree with Dan there? Get your views in. Get your comments in. Bubba says, in the last 2 matches, corners, opponents 28, Leicester 0. In the last game, Bubba, 3 points to Leicester, 0 points to Bournemouth. That's football. That's how it goes some weeks, Coke Eater 56 or Cake Eater. Coke Eater, I was going to say. Great, weird name on YouTube. Watching from London. What part of London? It's a big place down there. Ravenclaw says, hey, up from North Wales. Let's build on this. Good evening. Again, North Wales, it's a big place. Cooper is not the manager to take us to the next level, not just keep us up. Cooper is not the manager to take us to the next level, not just keeps us up. I sort of understand what you said there. Listen, Andy, I think Cooper was on a short list of maybe 1 people in the end to take the manager's job over. We've had this chat. And so far, he's doing okay. It's not, I don't really know what people were expecting. Mid-table, top half, 15th. I think we'd all take 15th at the moment if it finishes that way. Terry says, I'm not getting carried away. I'm certainly not getting carried away, although they lost. Southampton played well at Arsenal and Forest are a form team. Yeah, Forest will not be easy. Looking forward to that on Friday the 25th, 8 o'clock. Oh, Friday night. That'll be great. Looking forward to that. A couple of pints before. But they won't be easy. And Southampton away. Listen, they've had a stinky start, but they'll be really gunning for us that day. They'll be thinking if they can't beat Leicester, they've got no hope this season. So I think it will be tough. Paul says, I think he's a good manager, but every time I look at him, I think of Forest. Paul just can't. I think Paul's being honest there. I think there are a few fans just can't get over it. But I'd say, listen, Martin O'Neill, ex-Forest player. Wes Morgan lifted the Premier League trophy, ex-Forest player. I'd say, Paul, get over it. I think, he's our manager now. That's how it goes, isn't it? Dallas Foxes says, from Dallas, Texas. I wouldn't have guessed from your name there, but well done. Dave says, those are the games we need to focus on, the teams who are in our mini league, especially at home. I agree. Anything from 10 down, 10th to 20th, you've got to say at home, really, really vital that we try and pick up some 3 points. I think when you play those same 10 away from home, I think it's vital you don't lose those games and try to pick up at least a point, scrape the odd 3 points. But that not losing as well, I think, is important, isn't it? I don't want Cooper out, but not got 2 feet in. Yeah, you're on the fence, Jono. Let's be honest, you're on the fence. Now, listen, wherever you're watching this, please do get your comments in. I'm just putting in there. I'm sharing the link. If anybody wants to click on the link and give me their views via video, you're more than welcome. So it's out there tonight. Imran says Edward is a waste of space. Well, why do you think Palace didn't want him? But I don't know. Give him time. It'll probably score a screamer header in the last minute of a game, and we'll all be like singing his praises. He's perhaps got to be there for one of it. Andy says Skip had a good game, which was interesting in there. Obviously, Winks was benched, dropped, positional. And a lot of people say to me, and again, you might agree or disagree with this, a lot of people say, well, Cooper doesn't know his best starting 11 yet. And I go, no, I don't think I do. I don't think many fans do, because if we all had to pick a starting 11, I did the tactics show with Reedy last week. We couldn't agree. We were like, oh, let's put this player in, let's put that player in. I didn't get it right. I don't think, well, I think Reedy's team was closer than mine, but you know, drop Winks. We wouldn't have said that last year. Did he get dropped? Well, he was on the bench. Skip, and did he? Buonatti. You know, there's different formations. I don't expect Steve Cooper to get it right at the moment. Michael says Buonatti was man of the match. Great goal. Shame we haven't signed him, but that's how it goes. Even if he's just here for 1 year. Again, for me, this is a 1 year project. This is a 1 season project, just to do whatever it takes to stay up. So fair play. Like I say, if Edouard scores 1 or 2 vital goals, which gets us a point here, 3 points there, that could be worth its weight in gold. Even though Jonathan 2525 saying Edouard is too slow and too sluggish, I agree, but might get in there. Wout's great. Christensen, he's not up to standard, says Clibo1. That's interesting. I quite like Victor Christensen. Let me know if you're watching this what you think to him on Saturday. Wout certainly had one of his best games, I think. John Tower says, I hope Buonatti will help El Kahan and Alves to develop good competition in there. Ian says Faiz was man of the match, was solid and told a few people what he thought of them. Yeah, and that is what we need. Been saying it for a long time, Ian. We need leaders out there on the pitch. It's one thing having a manager on the side, but you need players out there to take responsibility. So if he's starting to do that, that will be good. Larry says you make your own luck. You do sometimes, Larry. You know, could have had that penalty. Was that a penalty? What do you think? Get your views in on that. Stop panicking. Daiquiri's back in training. He ain't good enough. But again, Andy, listen, I'll be the first if he scores a vital goal to get us some points. You know, it's better to have Daka back and in the squad because there's a lot of pressure at the moment on Jamie Vardy, isn't there? You know, what happened with that one test on Saturday? What do you think to that in there? Don't forget, you can click on the link. I've just seen Imran's clicked on the link, which is great. I'm going to get his views in. So just bear with a second, Imran. Keep getting your comments in. Robert says, I'm very proud of the lads pushing through, getting better at every game. Tuscan Fox, Leicester City for life. Terry says, every time I look at him, I think, God, I'm attractive. Not sure. Terry, are you talking about me? Every time you look at me, mate? God, dear. Anyway, let's get Imran in. Imran, good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, how are you, Phil? You okay?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah,
How are you feeling after Saturday?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good after 3 points, of course. I think most fans are going to be happy with the 3 points. I know we struggled against Bournemouth. It was nail-biting stuff last 5-10 minutes, wasn't it? But we held on, didn't we?
We did. Imran, answer this to Andy. Andy says, was dropping Winks a good move?
Yes, I think so. I think he had to change the midfield up. I would have dropped Ndidi, but he went with Winks and it paid off in the end.
I mean, Imran, a lot of fans saying Cooper doesn't know his best 11 yet. I don't know our best 11 yet. Do you think you do? Do you think Cooper should do? Or do you think
I don't think Cooper I don't think Cooper knows his best 11 too, but he's trying to do what he can. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like, I don't love Cooper, but we've got to give him a chance. He's just walked in, he's signed all these players, he needs to bed them in. It's going to take, I think I said it previously, it's going to take him 12, 15 games, and some fans were like, oh, we can't give him that long, we're going to end up in trouble, etc. I think Tom was mentioning last week he can't see a system. Yeah, I don't think anybody can see a system, right? But it's going to take time, and I think we've got to just be realistic this season. We have to stay up, and that's the key to this season, is just staying up. I remember last season when we lost to QPR at home, Plymouth away, Bristol City away. Who else did we lose to? All these, we went through that
Plymouth,
bad run.
Yeah.
Did you see a system with Enzo? I didn't see a system then either. We couldn't even put the ball in the back of the net. At least we're scoring this season. We scored in every game, I think, this season. So happy days, 7.
Yeah, Imran, I do get slightly frustrated because I've got two comments here, which are fair enough. Everybody's got their own opinion. Really saying What does Cooper not like about Fatua? First time he touched the ball, he won a foul and helped them. He's a massive threat, which I do understand that as well. And somebody else was talking about, Ricardo Pereira. But
yeah. I agree.
I do get it, but
yeah. I agree. I personally think Pereira should be playing. I'd play Justin left back, and Pereira right back. But I'm not Cooper, am I? I'd also play Fatawu instead of Mavindidi or Ayu. But we got the 3 points in the end. Yeah, Fatawu should be starting, no doubt. Even Pereira should be. But we're not in training, are we? We're not seeing how these guys are performing. So it's one of those, like I'm sure eventually the team the fans want to see will happen. It's just, I think there's fitness issues, there's confidence issues. We don't know what's going on at Seagrave, do we?
But this is what some fans. I mean, I understand some people want to see Ricardo Pereira, Fatua. So far, I've been quite happy with Ayu playing there. I know what he's trying to do. He's like, I need a solid Premiership player who knows what he's doing and is not going to let me down. A little bit like Mark Albrighton, never let you down. And I think,
and he wins a lot of free kicks. He keeps possession for us. Yeah, he does those little bits in games that relieve that pressure, doesn't he? I think, to be honest, my view is I think Ndidi's been really poor this season. I know he's got loads of assists.
Second highest assists in the Premier League. Second highest.
Yeah, but I think he's been lucky, though, to be honest. He's given the ball away how many times. He's not winning the ball back how he used to. I think he's been pretty poor. But like you said, he's second highest assists in the Premier League. So, it's one of those that you can't drop him.
Yeah, I get a few comments in there. Michael says he grew into the game and was given the captain's armband, give him the job permanently. Talk about white buys, I think, there, isn't he? Chris says a wins and a clean sheet. Let's try and pick the positives out of it and prepare for the next game. I agree with Imran. I agree with Chris. I think this season there is positives. I am seeing a team that seems to want to fight and stick in the games and win. Somebody talked about winning ugly earlier. It isn't that pretty at times, and it was a bit backs to the wall, wasn't it, on Saturday? But a win's a win and a clean sheet's a clean sheet, and 3 points is 3 points, Imran.
No, I totally agree. And I think, again, fans need to realise that we've got a weaker team than what we went down with 2 seasons ago. We haven't got, prime Vardy. We haven't got Tielemans. We ain't got Maddison, Harvey Barnes. We lost a lot of players. Even last season, we lost, I think, Pratt. We lost Iheanacho. We've lost a lot of KDH, of course, Kieran Dewsbury Hall. So we've not got a great team. That's the other thing that we need to all sit down and reflect on. We've not got a great team, but we're going to pick up those points and we're going to stay in this bloody league. Simple as that. And that's that's my view. Simple as that. We have to stay in the Premier League. Otherwise, we go down next season, Phil. They're waiting for us. Yeah. They're waiting for us.
Yeah,
so
they are waiting for us. I love what I love about Leicester Fan TV is the mixed views, and that's what we want, Imran. You've just said you thought Ndidi was not great. Matt Waitman says Ndidi has been class this season. What are you on about? But then Clibs has said Ndidi has been vital despite his flaws. And then Michael E says Ndidi is a good player out of position.
Yeah, they probably got him on their fantasy teams. That's why they think he's great.
Paul thinks Ayu was awful. So we're all watching the same game, but through different eyes.
Of course. We all have our biases, don't we? Like which players we like and which players, you see. I guess everyone sees the game differently, right? Like I see it like from a defensive perspective. Like I think Ndidi's given the ball away too many times this season. Same with Harry Winks. But Skip has been fantastic, right? And I saw a lot of people say Skip's not had a great game or Skip's a negative player, but I think he's been playing brilliantly. Breaks up the play, goes forward when he needs to, works hard. He's got a lot of bundle of energy around the midfield. So, yeah, of course, everyone's going to have their different views, aren't they?
Yeah, Michael says Ayu is a waste of space, and Oswin says Ayu was fantastic. It's one or the other. Imran, before I let you go, mate, and thanks for coming on. If anybody else wants to click on, I'm going to share the link again now, so I'll pop it in the chat. Imran, obviously, it's a little way away, but Southampton coming up next. Again, people will start talking about 6-pointers and must-wins, but you do feel if we could just beat them at their place, That would really give us
man,
a nice little push on, wouldn't it?
you know what? Like you said, I agree with you. I mean, if we draw it, then it's not bad. But of course, if we win that game, the psychological advantage we'll have, and plus, I think we'll be maybe 7 points clear of them or something like that. Yeah, and my son's saying, "Oh, we'll be on top of Man United too." So yeah,
Well, yeah.
That's if they can't pick up a result against Brentford, you know. So look, at the end of the day, draw your away games, win your home games. But if we can get a win at Southampton, I mean, I'll be in Turkey that weekend, so I won't be going to that game, but I'll be having a great time if that happens in Turkey for sure.
You enjoy that. Imran, listen, look forward to meeting you next time down at the game, and thanks for clicking on tonight.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Cheers, mate. That's fantastic to get him running. Met him quite a few times down at the match, and I always like it when people, have a bit of a listen. We don't agree there on things, but that's how it is. So keep getting your views in there and keep getting your comments in. Curtis says that Coley is a great addition. I feel he's going to be great when he beds in more. So Curtis, you think he's going to get better and better? But I agree with you. I think him and Baez, they're starting to build that partnership. I think JJ's looked decent now. I think Victor Christensen, Hermansen has stood out. I think somebody put in here, let's see if I can scroll back to it, because I thought it was quite interesting. Scarlett says here, thanks for watching on YouTube, says, this team reminds me of the Great Escape season. Not great players on paper, but I would agree with that. And again, if there was a stat come out today, I saw it on socials, where it was showing you what the squad value was. Now, I don't know what they based that on, but Leicester's was the second cheapest, poorest squad out the whole of the Premier League. And that includes Ipswich and Southampton. I think Ipswich were the bottom. I think ours was valued at about 230 million at the moment, and some of the, the Villas of this world, 600, 700, 800 million. So on paper, that was saying we haven't got the best squad, but like Scarlett is saying there, but they do look hungry and they are fighting for the shirt. I genuinely do see that in there, which is what I'd like to see. Cooper says, Clippo, Cooper has to go for it against Saints. No point sitting back. I think we will have to play it tight, but go for it in there. Imran says, thanks for having you on. No worries about that. I've got Manny is waiting to come on. Manny, give us a thumbs up if you're ready. Here he is. Manny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Good, thank you. How you doing?
No, really, really good. So, Manny, what's your take? I mean, obviously, very mixed views. We have some people think Ayew was a waste of space. Some think he was great. Should have Pereira. We've got very mixed views. What's your take on what you saw on Saturday?
Ayew did what he does well. So there's multiple ways of relieving pressure in a match. You can keep the ball yourself. You can try and play as much territory as you want. Or you can do what I call shithousery, excuse my French, winning fouls, all the ugly stuff. It's ugly, but you go down, he'll stay down for 15, 20 seconds. You give your chance for your defence to push up a little bit, let them have a little breather, kill a bit of momentum out of the game. And he did that 8, 9, 10 times, the fouls that he won. I agree, in terms of ball play, he didn't offer much, but that's not really his kind of strength. He's a defensive-minded winger who's there to win free kicks, hold the ball up, give your defence a bit of a break. Now, he's far from my first choice in the team, but I thought he did his job well on Saturday.
And again, we're only a few games in, Manny, but 3 points against Bournemouth is not too shabby because they're a decent mid-table Premier League team. They've been around for a little while. So I think that was perhaps a harder 3 points than perhaps it could have been against teams like Everton. So we've got to take the wins where we can, haven't we?
Yeah, but if you're not beating Bournemouth at home or looking to beat Bournemouth at home relatively comfortably, where are you going to get enough points to stay up? I know you guys have repeatedly said, win your home games against the bottom 10, the bottom 9 or the bottom 10, whichever way you look at it, and try and draw your away games. Well, we've already played Everton at home and didn't win that. So if you do the maths, that leaves us about 35 points, which sends us down pretty much. So at some point, you have to show some ambition. And it's hard to criticise when you've got over the line, right? And of course, we're all happy and been waiting a long time for a victory. But that is his only victory so far. And we are 7 games in. And we can't constantly rely on Palace and Wolves to be appalling and underperform. At some point, they will get their act together. The question is the kind of performance that we're showing sustainable or not? And although the first half was pretty good, it was good, second half stank. And if you look at the overall match, they had 17 shots on goal and only 2 on target. Well, if they had their finishing boots on, or you had another team with different strikers or different forwards, then that's not a home win. So I don't see much sign for optimism, I'm afraid.
But, Manny, it was a home win. And we did draw away at Palace, and we are in 15th, aren't we? That's how football works. You win some, you lose some, you score a goal, one goes in off somebody's backside. You know, there is always if buts and maybes. And even this season, we've had lots. We could have been 3-0 up at half-time, Manny.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a stone cold penalty, by the way. I don't think it's in debate. I can't believe it. You know, it just seems all of our decisions, everyone just seems to brush off as though they were nothing. I thought it was an absolute clear penalty. And if it was any big team, they would have made a massive hoorah about it, and they didn't. But yes, I get your point. It's the question of 1-0 win home against Bournemouth. If that isn't the game that you're trying to win, then that's an expectation win for me. It's not something to get excited or hyped about. What I would have got excited or hyped about is if we'd actually played excellently. We haven't for more than 45 minutes, but as a match as a whole, we just reverted to type second half, which was get deeper and deeper, invite them on them. Okay, we did the same against Palace, they scored. We did the same against Arsenal, they scored. We did the same against Bournemouth, they didn't score. Do you want to keep relying, putting your fate in whether the opposition had their shooting boots on that day or not? I would rather take control of the game and take it to them and try and get a second and then a third. And then you can do relaxation, take the energy out of the game, the usual stuff.
It's tricky, isn't it, Manny? Because I totally hear what you're saying. And again, had we gone into half-time at maybe 2 up, could have been fair. It is a different game. You're sort of a bit damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're Cooper at the moment. Because if he'd done things differently in the second half and we end up drawing the game 1-1, he gets criticism. He's done it the way he did it, and we actually won the game, and he's getting criticism still from some fans. I think it's okay to critique and say, we could have done this, but I think it is. He hasn't quite got it. He hasn't got it right yet. I'm not his biggest fan at all, but I do at least see that we are 15th, and we've not. We've won 1 and drawn 3. Out of 7 games, I'm okay with that at the moment.
You set the bar very low, mate. I'm certainly.
Where do you think we will be this season, Manny? What's your expectation for the end of the season, position-wise?
With Cooper or without Cooper?
Doesn't matter. For Leicester City, with this squad of players.
If I put it this way, if we still had Maresca in charge, what number would I expect to finish, and what number would I expect to finish with?
Well, you can talk about Maresca, but he walked away from the club, so for me it's a bit of a pointless conversation. But you can say where you think you would be with Maresca if you want to.
What do is give a realistic alternative as to your approach of football and how that approach can translate into points. So I'll flip it on to you. Do you think if we had Maresca? Look, I understand Maresca's gone, he left. I understand that stuff. But I'm talking about strictly about approaching the season and style of game. You've got Cooper's approach and you've got a Maresca approach. Do you think we would have finished higher with Maresca or higher with Cooper?
I guess that's an almost impossible thing to answer. I would revert back to what I saw with Burnley last year under Vincent Kompany, who, like Maresca, played a possession-based football and tried to play football what you class as the right way, Manny, but they stuck to their guns. Vincent Kompany stuck to his guns till the last game of the season, and they went down. Yeah. I'm not saying that would have happened with Maresca, but I'm using it as a case study and saying that's what Vincent Kompany did, played one way, would not change, believed in his style, and Burnley got relegated, and he went off to a much bigger club as manager. Now, I'm not saying that would have happened for Maresca, but it could have done.
Absolutely. But could I cite other case studies from the very same season?
Yes.
Okay, the case study that system that Maresca plays won the Premier League. It came second in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, with Manchester City.
Let me finish. It won the Championship. It won the Euros. I think it also finished, put Brighton into mid-table in the Premier League too. So if you extrapolate that one failure in 8 people or 7 or 8 people trying to play this way, including the biggest trophies there are, I think the difference between Burnley and all the other case studies I've just given is about the quality of your players. And now,
I would totally agree.
if you think we have a similar squad level to Burnley, then you've got a fair point. Personally, I think we have significantly better players than Burnley did last season.
I do hope we've got better squad players than Burnley, but I'm not over-egging the level of our players, Manny.
We have a Danish international at left back, a Belgian international at centre back, an Italian international at centre back.
Yeah, but not every Premier League side is full of international players now.
How many international players did Burnley have?
Listen, I've just said I thought we've got a better squad than Burnley, but
so we can't really apply the Burnley case study to us because we have a significantly higher level of player. I think Burnley sold 1 or 2 players from their squad, and they're making a bit of a mess of the Championship on their coming down, whereas we totally dominated 27 wins in our first 30 games.
But I'll revert back to my first point. Is Maresca walked away, so this whole debate is slightly.
So I'll ask you the question. So if at the beginning of the Championship season, Top and Rudkin have chosen Maresca to play this brand of football for the Championship, and you totally rework the players into this specific system, including, I'll highlight the conversion of Ndidi. Did any of us think Ndidi would be able to play a right-sided 8 player? Not a chance in hell. But he did. And so once you've got the players retrained and played 46 games in the Championship, and by the way, we also played Chelsea away in the Cup, and look, we dominated about 60 minutes of that game. We played against Liverpool at Anfield. We dominated the first half an hour. And we played Bournemouth away in the Cup, all 3 Premier League teams, and we dominated Bournemouth for pretty much the whole match. So I would argue that you are on the right track. Why would you regress by playing a more traditional aspect of football that very few clubs tend to play? And very few clubs tend to play effectively. Clubs like Sheffield United went down with it. They tried a practical approach. Luton on the flip side did have a go, and they did extremely well with that style of football. And they've got a significantly lower standard of squad than us. So I think it's a misnomer to believe that trying to play football an attractive right way doesn't keep you up if you're expected to be in a relegation zone. Personally, I don't think we should have expected to be in a relegation zone. I think that mentality is quite negative, and it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy if you go down that road. So I just don't like the approach. And you can scrape. No, that approach is not. You're not going to get 0 points for that approach. You can scrape. By the way, a 1-0 win against Bournemouth, but you'll also not beat Everton at home. You'll not hold out against Palace, and you'll get, at the end of the day, we are 15th in the table, I think, because Crystal Palace and Wolves have had an absolute stinker start to the season. Now, we might get lucky, and Wolves might continue to stink the place out. And there's certainly reason to think that might be the case. They've lost Kilman, they've lost Neto, 2 huge losses for them. But you're relying on other teams to be crap. So,
Manny, Keith says, and I did ask you this question, so where do you think we should be finishing this season?
No, he said aiming to finish. To finish. I think we should be aiming to finish upper mid-table. So, let's say
above halfway.
Above halfway. About 12th, I would think. I think
so we're 15th at the moment.
Yeah, and so I'd say
we're three positions off your aim.
Well, the other way to look at it is that we're 3 positions off getting relegated too.
Yes, but we're not in the relegation zone, so we are 15th.
If you want to take a snapshot of today and use that, like I said, as a case to say that we're going to be fine, I don't take much confidence to that, because I would say we've still got to play Man City, we've still got to play Liverpool, we've still got to play Chelsea. We have got a run of nice fixtures, and if we don't maximise those points in those upcoming fixtures, then we're really going to be up against it. Now, today the table looks fine, but if you continue to expect that Crystal Palace and Wolves in particular are going to stick the house out, I mean, do you really think they're going to continue to be this bad?
I don't know, but that's how league tables work, and they progress over the whole season. You kind of end up at the end of the season in the position. The year we got relegated because we were the 3rd worst team that year. So much as we all felt we had a too good a squad to go down, in the end the league tables don't lie. You get relegated or you stay up because you've somehow got enough or not got enough points. So at the moment we're only 7 games in. We're in 15th position.
Yeah,
so for me, I'm okay with that at the moment. I would like us to be, like you say, 12th. It's at the moment 12th. I think I'm not looking at the table, but 12th is Connor Cody not giving away that penalty, and we'd be pretty much in 12th if I
every team could say something like that in any of their
That's
games.
right.
If my player didn't do this, we would have got more points. If the referee didn't do a decision this way, we could have got more
But that's why you are. But that's what I've just said to you. You've said, oh, you can't expect Wolves and Palace to be stinky. Maybe they will be. But we are where we are at the moment. So I'll judge us where we are now, as you have to. I think we're doing okay. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. So we just, we're on the same page. We're just, I get it.
In the age of the individual games where we've looked to play on the front foot, where we've actually gone for those teams and tried to get hold of the ball and actually tried to play football, I would argue is when we actually look very effective. And we've caused, when we set deep against Tottenham, we invited them on, they could have been 4-0 up at half time. But when we actually took it to them, we were good. The first half against Palace, we were actually good. We took it to them, we scored 2 goals. But we keep going back to this defensive mindset, and Bournemouth is the only game where we didn't concede, but every other game we've conceded first when we've gone with a negative mindset, and Cooper just continues the negative mindset. I know we haven't gone down the route yet of selection, but I mean, there's just no. I defended RU at the beginning of this when you asked me the question, but having him over Fatawu is sacrilegious, but it's symptomatic of the mindset of the individual. He's going with it with an inferiority complex. He's always talking about the opposition. Oh, they're an excellent team. They've been in the league for years. Well, we've had one anomaly in the last 10 where we went down by 2 points. When we did go down to the Championship, we absolutely smashed it by a mile and comfortably went up in the end. And so I would argue that having this mindset of we just got promoted, therefore we should accept 17th, and that's absolutely everything and the be-all and end-all. Well, I'd argue that's not the case, because if you approach it that way, the next summer you're in the same position. So you might have 1 year of Premier League experience, but you still don't have an identity. You still don't have a clear, defined way of playing, and you still don't have the fans on board. And I personally think that this squad is capable of more than 15th, even with the fixture list that we would have had. And if we'd approached those games with a different mindset, we'd have more points than we have now.
And hopefully, Manny, that's what's going to happen over the next few weeks, the next few games. We'll be playing teams who are below us at the moment, and around us. So hopefully he can build on that. And like we said earlier, I don't think he has quite got the team right yet, and he is still developing how he goes. But 7 games in, you have to give people some time. That's how it works sometimes.
Well, I mean, how much time?
Or not, Manny, or not. Maybe you're just like, no, I'm not giving him any more time.
Oh, no, you give somebody a chance until they start making decisions. And he said he watched 46 games of us last season. He said he watched it all in a 4-week period and watched how we played. I mean, how you can watch 46 games of us last season and conclude that the first game of the season, Mavididi should be dropped. Second game of the season, we'll play RU at left wing instead of Mavididi. And if that's your conclusion with pre-season and all those videos, then I have to question mark what you're watching. And if you count, and then second game, he plays Cordova-Reid left wing instead of Mavididi. The fans, you and I, every fan is screaming, we want Mavididi, because we know our team. We watch them week in, week out, have done for a lot more than Steve Cooper has. He finally picks Mavididi, and lo and behold, 2 games, 2 goals, we're suddenly starting to move positive direction. But what does he do at the same time? Suddenly Fatawu gets dropped. Now it's Fatawu who's getting dropped for RU, or Fatawu who's getting dropped for playing Buonanotte out of position. I mean, it's such a mishmash. Eventually, by dumb luck, he'll stumble across the correct 11, not by actual analysis and understanding of where we are. It's just, well, that didn't work. 5 games in a row. Well, let's try that. Let's try eventually. Number 6, we'll try something different. I mean, if anyone watches me on any other platforms, you'll see that I've been advocating Winks to get dropped from the very beginning. Winks has a fundamental flaw in his game why he shouldn't be getting picked. It takes him 6 games to figure this out. Excuse me, it shouldn't take you 6 games if you're a decent manager. It shouldn't take you 6 games shouldn't take you 1 game to work out that RU at left wing over Mavididi, is an absolute joke. Can I just focus for a second on the Mavididi point? Because we're talking about position.
Manny, we've overrun by 10 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. But I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks. Do come on again. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, all the best.
Thanks a lot. Honestly, thanks to Manny. We have well and truly overrun. Really interesting debate, and that's what we're all about. Is getting lots of different views on. And, I think Manny is totally fair enough to have his views, and so are other people. So we all watch the same game. We all have slightly different views on it, and we'll see what happens, won't we? Southampton next, Forest, Ipswich. Let's see what we get after those 3 games. The more wins he can get, the more he's going to keep people and fans happy. He hasn't got it quite right yet, but I'll come back to the fact at the moment, 15th so far is okay. It ain't brilliant, but it's okay. I'd like to say thanks to everybody who's clicked in and given their views, their comments, and of course, everybody who joined us via the video. Join me next week, Monday, 7:30. And of course, you can join the Foxes Focus, which is on Thursday at 7:30, and Jamie's Aftermath show, which I think is still at 9:30 on Sunday. So thanks everybody for all your views, all your comments. I will see you next week.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Foxes Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.